Okay, hello and welcome everybody to New Earth Consciousness. Tani here with Dallas Collis. Dallas calls himself the 16-hour coach and the emotional baggage handler, which I think is great. A little tongue in cheek there. He's from Vancouver Island in Canada. And I'm excited to have him on the show because we've had an amazing little pre-interview chat, which honestly I could have recorded and presented that as well. But he has an amazing story of transformation and awakening, and a really powerful message and teaching to share with everyone here. So, Dallas, thank you so much for joining and happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. So, so you've been through some major life challenges, say the least. I know many people can relate to that, divorce, alcoholism, cancer, uh, grueling, suicidal thoughts and wanting to end it all. And I would love for you to share that moment. You shared with me the moment, there was a moment that happened for you that really changed everything. So I'll just leave it with that, and you can kind of take it where you want to go.
I can never start at the moment
Mm,
because the moment has to have context to understand it. Otherwise, in a sense, we all have moments
mm,
that should wake us up and we don't wake up because we're not in the context of that moment. We don't see it. We don't feel it. The door is open for us all the time and we don't see a door open. So it's not about the door so much as us and where we are. So I always start at the finish line because that gets us the right beginning.
mhm.
So the finish line is, can you agree with me on what we want? And I mean, what does every human being want from their life? What do we all seek? What is this idea of purpose and meaning? And I think we all know what it is. I think the question is just a silly game we play in our mind. We all know that we want to be happy. We want to have a peaceful, loving heart and just be happy. We want to not worry about stuff.
Yeah.
We want to enjoy life. That's it. It's that simple
Yes.
little thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
It is so simple. So why don't we?
Yeah,
What
why
is
don't we? Why don't we?
what is all
Why?
this drama? What is all this drama we call our life? What is all this worry and fear and frustration and anxiety and regret and anger and every difficulty you have in your life? What is it? And I think the reality is it's a story we believe in. I call it the story mind.
Mhm.
From the time we are little children, things happen to us. We learn things, we are told things. A story is being created for us. And we reach a certain age where we self identify as this story. It's suddenly we become the story. And so I meet you in real life and I say, tell me something about yourself.
Mhm.
And you start telling me about your story. We don't say, nice to meet you. I'm a healthy, happy human being. That's the end of the story. We don't say that. We say, I am this name. I am this job. I am this position, brother, sister, mother, father, husband, wife. We say all these labels. We start telling a story about us, what we've been through, what we've seen, what's happened to us, what we hope for in the future, our dreams, our goals. What is all that? If you are just a healthy, happy, beautiful human being, what is the rest of that stuff? That is this belief system in this story mind. It's not the real us. And in that story, we create emotional baggage that we carry with us from pain, from hurt, from trauma, from the past, from what happened to us as young children. Maybe many things have happened through our life that has hurt us. And we come to our first addiction, which is blame. Everyone has the same first addiction. Why? Because we know there's something wrong in this story. And we don't want to face what the truth of it is. So we start with, oh, it was school's fault. Oh, my parents were at fault. Oh, my friends were at fault. My boss is at fault. My partner's at fault. My kids are at fault. The economy's at fault. The government's at fault. Hell, the weather can ruin my day. It's at fault.
Or even my body. My body's at fault, right?
Exactly. We're constantly blaming because we don't want to look at this and realize it's not true. The story we're believing isn't true. And staying in it causes constant pain building up in our nervous system. And that nervous system has to let the pressure out somewhere. And it comes out mostly in physical illness in the body. I got lucky. Mine came out one morning. I woke up and I had cancer. That's a really lucky moment because it began to awaken me to this story and realize I've been carrying this baggage and it's been hurting me and oppressing me for so many years. I had to turn to alcohol to medicate and try and get away from the pain. I had to add more drugs to medicate more, to keep away that pain away. Until finally the body said, no more. Sorry, can't keep doing this. You know, it's only an exit door you're going to get if you keep going down this path. So cancer is a wake-up call. That's all. And I didn't see it as a threat to my life. I guess because there was so much baggage, I went, wow, maybe this is a message. And then I got hit with, well, then my wife, who was also damaged and hurt, we split. Mm-hmm. And then I lose my house. My family is broken. I lose my business. I end up alone, broken and suicidal and alcoholic. And I realized it's the greatest year of my life. I could not have wished for a better thing to happen in retrospect because it ended 60 previous years of an illusion that almost killed me. It came to me that I had believed a story, no more than believing a story, and that story almost killed me. How is this possible that human beings can just believe something and it kills them? And then I was awoken by someone saying, show me yesterday. The simplest idea in the world. Show me yesterday. Use your rational mind, your brain, your thinking machine, and say, where's yesterday? What is it? What actually rationally is yesterday? It's just a memory. It's just something we believe. It has no tangible reality today. I can't go to the cupboard, pull yesterday out and go, look, Tanya, look at yesterday. What do you think? There's nothing. There's nothing for us to grab onto. Only a belief that creates a feeling, a meaning that we've attached to it. That's all it is. It's in our heads. In the most fundamental sense, it's in our heads and expressed in our bodies. There are people in real physical pain. And this is why they'll say to me, don't tell me it's all in my head. You know, I've got this disease. I've got this problem. I've got this disorder in my body. I'm taking medication from my doctor. This is real. Well, the real expression is physical, but it stems only from belief. And so here I am carrying this belief, the baggage, the heavy weight of knowing that's me, that story. This is who I am. And it brings me to this point. Life should end because of a story. I can't show you yesterday. There's no tangible reality to it. I'm living in a physical world. I get up this morning, I stub my toe in a chair, and it hurts like hell. I jump around swearing and cursing. Obviously, it's real. So what is yesterday? There's just no reality to it. I was maybe physically abused 50 years ago. It happened. It was a real moment in time. It was a physical happening at that moment, like stubbing the toe, something physical took place. But how does it get here 50 years later? How does it travel 50 years? I traveled 50 years. I've been a physical being for 50 years. My body's here. It came, but how did the trauma get here?
Mm-hmm.
Is it somewhere in me? Can the doctor open me up with a scalpel and go, oh, look, there it is. Let's take it out. No. Just like yesterday, it doesn't really exist.
Mm-hmm.
There's no tangible reality to any trauma, any of our pains. They are only held in our minds. We only carry the memory in those bags, those heavy bags over our shoulder. I'm the one who brought my trauma for 50 years. I'm the one who looked after it, remembered it, regurgitated it out to tell other people. I'm the one who kept sitting in my theater looking at my movie of my story and going, oh my God, I'm so hurt. I'm so angry. Life is so hard. And I'm watching a movie. There's no reality to it. And so as I began to get through this show me yesterday, it became so clear that all of this stuff just fades away.
Mm.
If you don't spend time.
I want to be the devil's advocate just for a second,
Yes.
because I know you probably have an answer. So I see a lot of people, there's this whole notion around, somatic therapy, that we store these trapped emotions, these traumas in our physical bodies, and that through actually, that to whatever move through, like we have to feel what's stuck in the body, then to have that feeling of freedom or feeling of wholeness, or you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the question?
I guess my question is, I'm wondering, are you saying that none of that is necessary, that there's a path to that liberation from the story that you're talking about, that doesn't have to involve any of that practice of going into the body?
Yeah. How do you go into the body?
Right, through awareness. It's through your awareness, right? It's through the mind,
So what does that mean?
right?
All you're doing is thinking it. All you're doing is remembering it, imagining it, re-engineering it as a memory now
Yeah.
to somehow deal with the memory. And do what? We learn to manage that memory, cope with the memory.
Yes.
We learn tools to self-regulate and manage our emotions. We're not healing.
Right.
We're not fixing anything. We're learning to deal with it in a healthier manner that allows our life to get back on track and be less interrupted by all this pain and suffering.
Mhm.
That's what all therapy has given us for the last 100 years. But no one heals it. There's no inner child to heal.
Mhm.
There's an inner remembrance of a child that you have been told is damaged, that you have believed is hurt, a psychic wound, psychologists will even call it. Show me this wound. Where is it? This is a creation of the mind.
Right.
So I believe all that is a bunch of BS.
So
At the same time, I'll say, if it works for you and you feel good there,
yeah,
then great.
sure.
Be there.
Yeah.
Be there. But I think you leave it.
Yeah.
You don't heal it, you leave it behind. You walk away from it. It is bags
Yeah.
of emotional energy, and you simply put them down at the curb like the garbage you put out on Tuesday morning for the truck, and you walk away. That's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're managing.
Yeah.
You're dealing, not healing.
Right. So that question that you're asking is so powerful because you're saying, okay, show me. And so let's say, you're asking me that question and I'm like, okay, show you. The mind draws a blank.
Right, right,
It's not capable of showing you. And so
right.
it's nothing. It's actually, like you said, it's just an illusion, something that we've attached ourselves to,
The
that
story.
we're believing is true, that we're believing is real, that we believe that has a hold on us. But when you actually ask the question of like, okay, show me, you go there, it's yeah, it's very Zen. It's very like,
Show me asks your brain to get involved. And your brain is thinking. It is an active process of thinking. It is not thought. Thought is the story mind. Thought is belief and memory. That's where all the damage is. So when you ask the question, show me, there is nothing in thought that is reality, physical reality. Only thinking has physical reality. So when you bring thinking in, it asks thought to present itself in the rational physical world. It cannot. It is completely confused by that, and that is the empty moment. That's that dead space where you go, uh, uh, uh.
yeah.
That is the space of reality right there that we have to awaken to and realize you are a rational, brain induced thinking creature. This thought mechanism is memory. It is just an imagined story you believe. I think all memories are bad. All memories.
Mm.
And here's the separation again. People will say, but your brain works from memory. And I say, no, it doesn't. You do something, an experience, you learn something, how to swing a tennis racket, how to knit a sweater. You then don't remember to knit the next sweater. You go to your brain that has stored it as a skill. It's no longer a memory, it's like a tool in a toolbox. Memory is only the imagined and believed.
Mm.
The brain is the storage of skills and tools and information that allows you to function in the physical world. When we entangle them is when all the problems begin. Because we get entangled in, everyone has this belief. And then you sit down with them and say, yeah, but now let's think rationally. And they get upset and uneasy because the rational brain knows it's a belief. There isn't anything rational to our beliefs. So there's nothing rational to any memory. People go, what about my good memories? I've got happy childhood memories. I say, yeah, they're poison. Every single one of them. Want me to prove it to you? I've walked into 1,000 houses and I'll say, you got any photo albums? Oh, yeah, I've got 6 or 8 of them in a box downstairs in the basement. You want me to get them? Really? These cherished photos that represent wonderful memories. Pictures of my childhood around a Christmas tree and happy. And they're in a box in the basement. Why is that? Because even when we start reliving happy memories, the mind, the story mind starts saying, you don't have that anymore.
Mm.
That was then, not now. There's something you've lost in that memory. I remember people in it that are no longer with us. It is full of uneasiness.
Mm.
This is why we leave it in a box in the basement.
Mm.
We know it's there, but we really don't want to live, even in happy memories.
Right.
They're great for a moment. It's like the first drink of alcohol, and you feel a little nice and giddy, and it's fun. But after too many, you start feeling uneasy and not so happy anymore. All memories do that. They all lead us away from the rational, from just being this beautiful, loving, happy person. The brain knows that's who you are. The story mind came from fear and insecurity, and it's your ego. It's the deceiver. And it wants to stay alive by keeping you in that fear and upset and worry and deal with this and fight and struggle. And so we've got a whole entire personal development industry that's based around the same as the therapy. It's based around you being disciplined, being strong, manage your time, manage your money, manage your life. Somehow you can mold and shape and make things work better for you. Succeed, achieve, grow, get there. This is all story mind glue.
Yeah.
It keeps us living in the movie we think is us. And the happiness and simple love and beauty is sitting there. It's right there on the coffee table in front of you. But instead of picking that up, you pick up this great, big, giant, heavy book that's me, my struggles, my hopes, my dreams, my desires, page after page, fighting through this novel over and over again. Oh, yeah, love and happiness. Yeah, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. You know, when I succeed, I'm going to get to that love and happiness right over there. I know it's there, and I'm going to get there. What an insane story to be stuck in. To think we have to get somewhere. Achieve what? What will you achieve? I worked for 45 years and now I get to retire. Oh, what do you get from your retirement? Oh man, I have days I just feel so much happiness and joy and just peace of mind. Why'd you spend 45 years to get there? Why didn't you get there in the beginning? You were born like that. Look into a newborn baby's face. What do you see? What does everybody see? They just see love and beauty and happiness. That's it. The baby doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a story. It doesn't have insecurities, jealousies, judgment, comparison, fear. It doesn't have any of those things. All those things we put onto ourselves in a story that we didn't even write. Our parents wrote it. Our schools wrote it. Our bosses wrote it. It's not even us. And yet we identify as it and struggle with it for years and years. Some people never stop struggling. And some people stop struggling. You see lots of people as they get elderly just begin to look back and go, yeah, that stuff wasn't so important maybe. Geez, I spent a lot of time worrying about stuff that never really happened, didn't really hurt me. But in the moment, we're in this drama. Our story is so big and complex, and look around. Everyone else is doing the same thing.
Right. It's grown from, I feel like there's the personal story. Okay, there's my own little individual story. And then there's like a collective story that's on top of that. Like it's just like layers and layers of madness, essentially, that we have to wake up. We have to wake up from, I feel.
And you got to understand this. All that collective story, the other almost 8 billion people in the world, they're all living the same story.
Yeah, it's all the same story.
It's identical. Go watch a movie from Hollywood for 100 years now. Every movie is the same story. It's someone struggling, fighting, overcoming, and in the end, finding what? Happily ever after. Every story's the same. They find love, or they get rich and are happy, or they, something they achieve to get to this place we call happiness. Every story is the same. I say it's 8 billion chefs right now today are all cooking the exact same dish, the same recipe. But every single dish comes out a little different tasting, a little different looking, maybe a little different aroma. And so we point out the differences. to keep the complexity of, oh, well, you're different. And my case is different. I'm special. I'm not you. And we point at all the differences, but the reality is we're all doing the same thing. Looking at this horrible global scene of Iran and Israel and America and willing to drop bombs. Don't you think that Putin, that Netanyahu, that Donald Trump, they're all human beings who want love. They want to be loved. They don't know how to deal with their pain. So they're creating a self-importance they call power, politics. Mm-hmm. And their anger and their frustration, their fear and insecurity allows them to hit other boys in the game, like little boys in a sandbox fighting over trucks. Mm-hmm. It's no different. Yeah. They're no different than you and me.
Right.
They're just allowed to display it in a more violent way.
Right, a more maybe it's just a bigger arena, a bigger sandbox. That's all.
Of course it is. But if I can convince enough people to be afraid of a different people, I can convince you to pick up guns and go fight those people because you're believing a story. And that's all it ever is. We're stuck in this story of fear and insecurity. When you are not fearful and not insecure, you have your happiest moments in life. You can point to any moment and you will see you were fearless and you didn't feel any insecurity. You were safe. And they're the most beautiful moments. And all that made them fearless and safe was you. So we can do this at any moment of our lives. We can make it fearful to go outside. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
And they're fed labels, a disorder. Something's wrong with me. I'm broken. And so I'm more unsafe and I'm more fearful. To the point where I'm working with people now who don't want to go out into the world because they're afraid. Mm-hmm. They don't feel safe. And all of that is inside of them. They're just watching their movie of fear and insecurity so many hours a day that they're scared. You go to a horror movie, I've got friends who love horror movies. And they're sitting there, just fists clenched tight. They're just wrapped up, scared to bits. And at any moment they could go, well, it's just a movie. I know that. Okay, well, I'll be rational. Of course, it's just a movie. And all of a sudden, they're not scared. Mm-hmm. Well, what happened? How could it change like that? Because the story isn't real. And our rational brain always knows that.
Right. So how do you coach people to, well, and I'm curious because I feel like there are people that are, I mean, I'll just say on the spiritual path or the path of self-inquiry. Who am I, really?
Yeah.
And you can get glimpses of that. Oh yeah, right. There's this peace, accessible peace that's available. But oftentimes we fall back into the story. We get a glimpse of it, and then we fall back into whatever, our lives and the dramas and the day-to-day, and then we lose touch with that. I'm curious, how do you coach people to come back to, I mean, I know it's kind of redundant. It's like, well, just come back to the present moment, but like, I'm curious, like what kind of golden nuggets could you share with people that are watching? And I know we're coming close to ending here soon, but how do you guide people to come back again and again to the point where it becomes a lived reality? It becomes a baseline rather than something I'm dabbling in or something I easily forget to do. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if you could speak to that.
It's not so much what to do, it's what not to do. Mm. And what's not to do is believe the thoughts you have. And this is where I separate thoughting and thinking. Do you have thinks or do you have thoughts?
Mm.
Are you a thoughter or a thinker? They're distinctly different. Thinking is attention, that's presence, that's being consciously aware. Every time you think during a day, as soon as you have to think to do a task, you are present because you have to be.
Right.
But 75% of our days are around thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts are from the story mind. They say we have anywhere from 10 to 30,000 thoughts a day. They just arise. We don't ask for them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
A thought, you lie down at night, put your head on the pillow, and all of a sudden thoughts of worries about yesterday or tomorrow start running in your head and you can't stop them.
Right.
That's
Or fantasies.
sure.
Or fantasies, other end of the spectrum, right.
Yeah, absolutely. But so I try and work with people to say, can you recognize a thought when it happens?
Mm.
If you're awake to catch a thought, I can remember back in the day, it would be, I drop a cup of coffee on the floor and the mug smashes.
Yeah.
And the voice in my head goes, you idiot. What a dumbass. Pay attention. You're always doing stupid crap like that. That is the story mind. That's the deceiver ego. That's your thoughts. Now, if I grab onto the thought and go, yep, that's me, that's now I've entangled the thinking, the brain, which goes, yeah, I know, I'm such an idiot. I've got to be more careful. So what have I done? I've entertained the thought that isn't reality. And I brought it into the brain and said, I believe it's me. So if we can be aware, and I drop the mug and it smashes and the thought comes up, you idiot, what do you think you're doing? If I'm awake, I can go, oh, that's such a funny thought. What a silly thing for me to say to myself. And then move along. I didn't grab the thought. I didn't entertain it. I didn't make it me. I almost laugh at it. Wow, what a silly idea that is. That's not me. And off I go. I don't spend any time with the thought, but I have to be aware that I've seen the thought happen. That's the crucial thing about our heads. Most people don't. The thought leads them. We are led around by our thought, not by our thinking. Our thoughts take us everywhere.
Yeah.
My thinking is, I'm going to the bank today. I'm going to go at about 1 right after lunch. And the thought comes, oh, it could be a lineup. Oh, I hate lineups. I don't want to stand in a lineup. Oh, it's going to be a terrible lineup. Don't go. It's going to be busy today. And all of a sudden the brain goes, yeah, I'm not going to go. How did this happen? This is the thought machine that gets in the way, full of negativity and fears and worries and what's going to happen. And we grab it without seeing it. Without seeing it's not real.
Right.
So,
And so
when I started,
there's a choice then at that moment.
absolutely.
When the thought comes up and you're awake enough to catch it, in that moment you have a decision to make, whether to believe the thought or to pay no attention to it. Correct? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, don't pay attention. It goes away. Thoughts can't survive without your attention.
Yeah, right.
They can only survive and grow if you give them attention. You feed them.
Yeah.
If you disregard them, ignore them, they just dwindle. They just dissipate. They just go away. They can't live without you saying, yes, it's me. So when I started, on the edge of my TV screen behind me still is a sticky note, and it says, get off your ass. It's on my TV. This is waking me up. Because the thought is, I'm just going to sit down and watch something, and I start wasting my time. And I look at the note and I go, oh, and I wake up and I go, yeah, I need to be doing something more productive or something smarter, getting on with things. So it makes me get up. I have a sticky note on the fridge. It says, what's going into your mouth?
Mm.
It's to try and wake me up
Yeah.
because we will eat from thought. A
Yes.
thought comes, I want some chips.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it. It's just a thought that arises out of this, this addiction. We are addicted to the food or addicted to the screen or all these things that keep us away from thinking and attention and being present. So when I get to the fridge and it says, what's going into your mouth? I might wake up and go, oh, yeah, I should make a choice about my food, not just grab what I want. So it's whatever can trigger you waking up. It is a practice. You have to be aware and practicing being awake and not daydreaming. We daydream through so much of our lives. Habits and routines are daydreams.
Mm-hmm.
They become so routine, we can do them with our eyes shut. It's a story I always say about you driving home from work on a Thursday night at the end of a hard day and you're tired. You walk into the house and slap your keys down on the counter. And the sound of the keys hitting the counter wakes you up. And in that second, your brain goes, I don't remember driving home.
Mm.
I can't remember anything about that trip.
Mm.
How is this possible? We can live daydreaming. It's stunning the amount of things humans can do daydreaming.
True. Yes.
People sit in their jobs, they're working, and they're absolutely daydreaming the day away, barely getting anything done. But as soon as you wake up your brain, boom, things happen right away because you're present. You're right there. You've had conversations where we've all done it. Been talking to someone and then all of a sudden realized we weren't listening. And asked us a question and we went, ugh, and inside you suddenly felt this guilt and realized, I have no idea what they just asked me. That's this just daydreaming, even with someone. It's so easy to drift off. And that's that practice of being awake. Be here. I always tell a story. We all learned this secret to life in grade 1. First day of school. And then our teacher walked to the front of the class and went, attention, attention class. What were they saying? Wake up, be here. It's an amazing secret to life.
Mm.
And then they even taught us presence. They would take roll. Tanya, present. Dallas, present. So they just gave it all to us, attention and presence. First day of grade 1. What an incredible secret. But it meant nothing because we didn't attach the whole context of life to it. We don't see it. These are the moments we started talking today about. The doors are opening all around us and we don't even notice them. That's why you can't lead anyone there. I can't teach anyone to go there. You have to want to get something from this. Mm. You have to be ready to accept the possibility. And I start people with what if? What if your story isn't yours? What if you're believing a story that isn't true? Mm. Many parts of it are, but I guarantee you the toughest parts, the heaviest baggage is a lie. It's an illusion that you believe, and it's been holding you back all your life, causing you every harm, every difficulty, every problem comes from the illusion. So if you can just what if, just question it. That ability that you pointed out as soon as you had that question to a thought or a belief, there was this dead space because it doesn't know what to do with the question. Mm-hmm. If you can question your past, if you can question your history, if you're willing to say, what if it's not true? That opens doors. Yeah. Because if it isn't true, you have to go looking. What else do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. This is true. This is this is it. I mean, it's incredible that when you stop to, like you're saying, just ask the question, there is a silence. There is a space that is consciousness, awareness. It's
The
listening.
gap,
It's,
the gap.
yeah, it's there, and it's
The
all.
gap is you. The gap is where you are.
It's who you really are. I, Dallas, I love this so much, and I want people to know how to be able to get a hold of you. You do one-on-one coaching. You have written some, I believe you've written some books as well. I'm bringing up my list here.
Yeah, the last one's right here. The gift is the present.
Gift is the present. Yes, on Amazon. These links are in the description of this video, but definitely check it out. Um, connect with Dallas if you want to learn more, and please leave your comments. Please like and subscribe. Please share this video if you found it valuable and inspiring. And yeah, thank you so much, Dallas. Any last words you want to say?
Yeah, you've only got this day. Live in it. Make it the best day you can make it. You only have to do it for one day. That's all. One day.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for that reminder, Dallas. This is good. Thank you so much, and much love to everybody, and see you again soon.